welcome back. My name is Kyun, and I go through and I collect everything in the World of Warcraft on all 12 classes. And something that we're going to do is we're going to make a new series where we kind of walk through the add-on all the things. We've already made a setting series, so we're just going to make a little bit of a, if you download it, what next type of series. Um, Going into this, I'm going to go on a very surface level as if I'm introducing my parents to Warcraft and all the things, and then we'll dive deeper into it. But just kind of going through from a very high overarching view, and then we'll kind of get into the details as we go, and we'll break it down by video. So if you first download the add-on, maybe something to kind of walk through it and initially walk through is if you want to go through and change the settings. Depending on how your setup is, you can go through and see it on the mini map here, and then you can call it from that location by right-clicking on the icon. It may be that your map or your settings there where you can just see the add-on and right-click on it. The other way to go about it is going into your interface. Go to interface, and you'll have either it defaults to game or it defaults to add-on, but it's right up there at the top. I've already kind of gone through my settings, so I won't go through that too much in this case. We may come back over here just for a little bit of a review, but more than likely, whenever you've downloaded it, whenever you first pull it up, so you first pull it up with the call or the command /att. And we'll get into the other listings at another time, but normally it looks like this. So at this point in time, you can put it anywhere you want. If you left click on the title here, you can move it around anywhere you want. You can change the shape of it by at the bottom right hand corner, left click on that and move it around this way. So I'm going to go through and just kind of keep it here. Normally for me, I tend to keep my quests on the left hand side and my all the things on the right hand side somewhere over here, just for the sake of being somewhat neat. You'll notice that if you scrunch it together, it shortens the progression of, or shortens the wording here rather than the numbers. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to go through and put it here. Also, for the sake of the video, I'm going to go through and set up my settings a little bit this way. So let's go do this. Again, I've covered this in the previous series, but we'll make this just a tad bit larger. All right, not that big. That's big enough. All right, so we make it a little bit larger. That way you guys can see what we're looking at here. But as we're looking at the settings, I'll go through and kind of walk through it a little bit. As far as the add-on, all the things, what does it cover? It covers your dungeons and raids. It covers your, well, let's go into it. It goes into dungeons and raids, and then it breaks it down into classic, Burning Crusade, all of your expansions, all the way up to Battle for Azeroth, and soon to be Shadowlands. Within each of the expansions, you notice the dark orange text are your raids. So Molten Core, Onyxia's Lair, Blackwing Lair, stuff like that. Your dungeons in the lighter yellow, light orange text. So that's typically how it's broken down. Same thing here with Burning Crusade, same thing with Wrath, and it goes on. When you get into, say, Warlords of Draenor, maybe even earlier, if you wanted to go through and click on a raid, it breaks it down into maybe achievements, but it also breaks it down into the difficulty. So you have looking for raid, normal, heroic, mythic. So hopefully that helps in that regard, and kind of has the, at least categorically speaking, how it breaks it down. Your outdoor zones are broken into more or less initially whenever you first pull it out. Typically, just kind of ignore this for now. We'll come back to that. But typically broken into your continents. And your continents many times are kind of your new expansion. So Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms, that's going to be your classic stuff. Cataclysm will be woven in there a little bit, but then you have Maelstrom by itself just because it's out in the middle of nowhere. You have Outlands for Burning Crusade. You have Northrend for Wrath of the Lich King. So kind of broken into that group. If we deep dive into it a little bit, it's broken into, again, two different colors here. Your major cities being your darker orange, and then your zones being your lighter orange or yellow. If we go into Outland, again, Shathra cities, your darker orange, and then again, your zones are your lighter yellow. So that's kind of how the outdoor zones broken down. World drops, again, categorized by expansions. As far as group finder stuff, this is broken down by expansions. And then even furthermore, let's see, if we take a look here, we'll keep it there for now. That'll keep it simple. Once you get into some of this stuff, it starts breaking into your scenarios and stuff like that. So we'll keep it simple for now. Achievements here are listed almost exactly as you see them in game. So going from your general character to your quests, exploration, PvP, all the way down to your feats of strength. For the way I have my settings set up for what's currently available. Let's see. Azerite Essences is kind of a lone star because it's currently BFA. Azerite Essences has been something new for us over here at this point in time. So this is just kind of plopped here. I would imagine in the future, it'll probably move over to expansion features, where that's where a lot of your core expansion features end up. Like your Tolbarad Peninsula for Cataclysm, Draenor Garrisons for Warlords of Draenor, Island Expeditions for BFA, Class Hall for Legion, War Effort for BFA, right? Yeah, BFA. Your Horrific Visions for BFA as well, Odom and your Veil Assaults, where N'Zoth was invading those zones, that's there as well. So a lot of those key features. Your events, there's a little bit of guesswork sometimes between what's an event and what's in holiday. So I'll just kind of go through and show that there. One of the big ones here is the Dark Moon Island, and then your Legion Invasions. Time Walking is pretty big, so that's there. That's broken down into expansions as well. And then your holidays. Holidays, of course, are just listed in order as the year goes on. There's a couple of little outliers where you have your free t-shirt day, just a lot of shirts. Your trial of style, I think I'm missing the kilt or something, right? Yeah, some sort of looks like leather chest piece. So I'll have to go through and collect that next time, but that's there. If we close off trial of style, you have the rest of the holidays as well. I think that's about it. Maybe Day of the Dead. Yeah, I think that's considered another holiday. So that's there. Pet battles. Kind of go through and think of this as like pet battle dungeons or pet battle events. So if we go into it, you have your Celestial Tournament, you have all of your pet battle dungeons, and then you have your pet battle satchels. You know, stuff that came from Pandaria. I think this is... I'll have to go back and look at this one. I think this one might be from the city, but anyway, just think of it as more like your events and your activities there. Your actual pets are down here in the pet journal at the toward the bottom, and those are broken down into your different what do you call it? Your different classes or categories or types of pets. So at that point, it just kind of lists them as you see here. Something to note, that if you wanted to go through and pull this out, so let's say for example, if you just wanted to look at pet journals, if you right click on it, it'll pull it out just like this, and then you can go through this. You can also change the size of the font for your mini list. Again, I keep it this size just because as I'm going through here and I'm doing this, it makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. But same thing, if we get into the crafted items, it breaks it down by expansion. If we get into the professions, it breaks it down by profession, of course. I'll pull, right now I'm not tracking recipes just because I've been working on some other stuff, but we will be pulling in recipes, so it's going to look a little bit different. Secrets is pretty straightforward for the most part. You have your Wasted Time, you have your Sun Darter Hatchling, you have your Riddler's Mind Worm, all that stuff. Some of the stuff that I still need to get, but it's just a pretty simple list. Let's see, as far as selfie filters, those are pretty self-explanatory. Item sets. Item sets is a little bit unique. And I realized I skipped PvP, so we'll come back to that. But item sets are like your Legion artifacts or your class trial sets. So for example, maybe before the end of BFA, if you're seeing this at this time, go through and make a trial character Mist Dancer. We'll say a Mistweaver Monk. I think Mist Dancer is the name of the set. So under the Mist, if I go through and I make a class trial Mistweaver Monk, then we should go through and get some gloves and a cloak. So gloves and then cloak there. So That may be worthwhile taking advantage of while you can. 110, I happen to have everything for that one, but yeah, there's a couple things I'm missing here. Maybe I need to make a class trial. What do you call those? The Demon Hunters. So that's there as well. So, little things like this are worth taking a look at. Let's see. I think this is going to be Paladin. Okay. Yeah, so this one's going to be our Paladin set. So I'll go through and maybe make some class trial Paladin, or make one, and then, more or less go from there. So if we close that, you have your heirlooms. We'll come back to the container stuff later. Your heritage armor, that'll be a little bit straightforward. Legion Order Hall stuff, that I just need to go through and actually get done. But yeah, you can see this here. PvP, let's go back up to that real quick. So primarily it's broken down into your different season sets. A lot of this stuff you can go back and buy with Marks of Honor, thankfully. Fortunately, Blizzard hasn't gone through and removed that, so we'll see what happens there in the future. But as of now, you can buy this stuff with your Marks of Honor. So we'll close that. As far as your battleground and your leveling gear, that can be found here. So say, for example, with these crates from 15 to 39, there's 27 different appearances. For your crates for 40 to 59, 25 appearances, and that's there as well. One of the goals in this video is I'm going to try to make these shorter and quicker. So I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon, but hopefully you get the idea as far as where everything is. One of the strengths in all the things is that you can find something in multiple different areas. So let's say, for example, you want to figure out where the love rocket is. You have the add-on sitting here and you're trying to figure out where's the love rocket. Some people, there's no wrong way to find it. One of the beauty nice things with all the things that, again, you can find in multiple categories. So let's say mounts, if I wanted to look into holiday, I could find the love rocket here or the infinite time reaver here. So these are just showing because I don't have them. Or if I wanted to, I could go out, depending on how my mind works, I guess, I could go back up to holiday and I could say, okay, well, if we go into, I think the holiday name is not that. It's not called retrieving data, but I think it's under whatever it's called. Love is in the air. There we go. Love is in the air. For some reason, there's a little bit of a glitch where it'll just sit there and it'll call it retrieving data. So if you see it, that's what happens. But underneath bosses, and then once again underneath that guy, and then within the heart-shaped box, you have your love rocket. So there's different areas where you can go through and find the same thing, just depending on the category. Again, that's one of the strengths, one of the benefits of this add-on, is you can go through and do that. Toy box, pet journal, mounts, pretty much all the same thing. Like I said, I'm going to wrap this up. It's going to be one of the longer videos. I'm going to try to keep these a little bit shorter, but hopefully that helps in just like getting started and just seeing the add-on as a whole. Alright guys, so I'll be back. I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all take care.